are these people?
But also, it appears that we are abandoning, quote unquote, Ukraine. Now, we know that it's not going to totally be. All right. We know that effectively what this means is that we're moving on. All right. And Zelensky is going to be a very sad boy. All right.
Maybe.
But
Maybe not.
I don't think that Trump wants war with Russia. I think that he's got hawks in his cabinet that do. He's got hawks around him that certainly do. All right. But it's official, according to Kit Klarenberg, U.S. is abandoning Ukraine. And the reason why he said this, and I will give credit also to our friend, the Dissident, who wrote up a very similar article around the same time and published it about the Biden administration lying about the Ukraine proxy war. Okay, that they knew that Ukraine would lose it from day one. And now we are admitting that and effectively moving on. So again, this is from Indie Media Award honoree Kit Klarenberg, class of 2022. One of the faves, friend of the show, friend of INN, friend of Misty's, friend of independent media in general. He's a good dude, and he's got great reporting. So what he says here was that on January 19th, Time magazine published an astonishing article. All right. By the way, Active Measures is his podcast and his show with Alex Rubenstein, Klarenberg, and Rubenstein. If you have not seen that, you're missing out. Fantastic freaking show. Unbelievable. And I think they talked about this, but they're not the only ones. And that's why, I don't want them to be the only ones. So I want to give a shout out to Kit's work. So Time magazine published the astonishing article, amply confirming what dissident anti-war academics, activists, journalists, and researchers have argued for a decade, that the U.S. always intended to abandon Ukraine after setting the country up for proxy war with Russia, and never had any desire or intention to assist Kiev in defeating Moscow in the conflict, let alone achieving any of its maximalist aims of regaining Crimea and restoring the country's 1991 borders. Yeah, right? All right. To have a major mainstream outlet finally corroborate this indubitable reality is actually a seismic development. All right. This is what Kit means. So there's even more. The Time article's brief first paragraph alone is rife with explosive revelations. It notes that when the proxy war erupted in February 2022, then President Joe Biden set 3 objectives for the U.S. response, and Ukraine's victory was never among them. Oh, man, did they get played. Moreover, the phrase oft repeated by White House apparatchiks that Washington would support Kiev for as long as it takes was never meant to be taken literally. Instead, it was just intentionally vague news speak with no
vague news. I like that.
Right? Vague news, right? With vague no implied time frame. No implied time frame or even desired outcome in mind. What's a win? Eric Green, a member of his National Security Council who oversaw Russia policy, those guys did real well, states that the U.S. deliberately made no promise to Zelensky, Koki Smurf, to recover all of the land that Russia had occupied since the conflict's inception, and certainly not Crimea or even the breakaway Donetsk and Lugansk republics. Those are gone. Those are gone. Those were already determined, gone in February 2022. He said the White House believed doing so was well beyond Ukraine's ability, even with robust help from the West. It was well understood such efforts were not going to be a success story ultimately for Kiev if tried. That's a great quote. They were not going to be a success story ultimately. As a way to gloss that over. How many people would be murdered as a result of that? All right. According to Time, the Biden administration's 3 key objectives in Ukraine were all achieved. Come on, that's why we're getting out, because we're done. We did what we wanted to do. Did you know that, Reef? We achieved our goals.
What was the goal?
Well, there were 3 of them. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So, nonetheless, Success on these fronts provides little satisfaction to some of the former president's closest allies and advisors. Like the entire Ukrainian population. Some of them. All right. Green was quoted as saying Washington's purported victory in Ukraine was unfortunately the kind of success where you don't feel great about it due to Kiev's suffering and so much uncertainty about where it's ultimately going to land. Maybe like Libya-ish, with Nazis taking over the country within the next 3 years would be my prediction, but I'm just speculating. Now, one objective was avoiding direct conflict between Russia and NATO. Now, amazingly, they claim victory here, miraculously, despite the U.S. and its allies consistently crossing Moscow's clearly stated red lines on assistance to Kiev, providing Ukraine with weaponry and other support that Biden himself explicitly and vehemently ruled out in March 2022 on the grounds that it would cause World War III, and greenlighting hazardously escalatory strikes deep inside Russian territory. So far, all-out hot war has failed to materialize. Oh, let's not forget about what was the irradiated oh God, what the hell was it? The shells that had radiation stuff in them.
Yeah.
All right. On this front,
Depleted
perhaps.
uranium.
Right. Thank you. I couldn't. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's why you're here.
Thank you.
You do that for me sometimes
I remember
too.
some things.
Yay!
I remember some things.
When I'm riffing.
Occasionally.
Forget it. He's going. I feel like I'm doing when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor. No, I know that's from. It's misinformation. Don't take me down YouTube. That's a line from Animal House. Come on, it's a joke.
Yeah.
All right. Now, one objective again was avoiding the conflict. The president triumphed, kind of, even though we did everything to try to provoke it. But I guess we didn't have an all-out direct conflict between NATO and Russia yet. That still might happen, and his provocation certainly would cause that. However, another one of the objectives was for Ukraine to survive as a sovereign democratic country free to pursue integration with the West. This prospect dwindles daily as the proxy war's front line teeters constantly on total collapse. Kiev is facing an eventual and seemingly inevitable rout of some magnitude, with the conflict likely settled solely on Russia's terms, and Zelensky, or whoever replaces him, having no negotiating position to speak of with Trump. All right, Koki Smurf is really crying already about money, and we need weapons, we need men, you need to send us 200,000 fighters. I don't think so. In December 2024, Empire House Journal Foreign Policy, that's garbage, right? Empire House Journal, even openly advocated cutting Kiev out of eventual peace talks. It's not Kiev you have to worry about anyway, it was the Brits, and that's what he's going to say. Biden also wanted the U.S. and its allies to remain united. It is in this objective that most obviously failed, and quite spectacularly. As that journalist, Kit Klarenberg, again Indie Media Award honoree, member of the Grey Zone UK, repeatedly documented, British intelligence has consistently sought to escalate the proxy conflict into all-out war between the West and Russia, and encourage Kiev in its maximalist aims to the extent of covertly plotting grand operations for the purpose and training Ukrainians to execute them. Hello, Nord Stream, Kursk Bridge, etc., etc., etc. London's overriding ambition, per leaked documents, is to, quote, keep Ukraine fighting at all costs. It's not us, it's them. They want this. Why? The Western media has acknowledged Ukraine's calamitous August 2024 invasion of Russia's Kursk region was, to all intents and purposes, a British operation. London provided a vast welter of equipment to Kiev, central to the effort, all right, and closely advised their Ukrainian counterparts on strategy. Right? The aim was to draw Russian forces away from Donbass and boost Kiev's bargaining position, which has proven a staggering embarrassment on both fronts. But there was a wider, more insidious goal behind the incursion. Britain openly and eagerly advised its fundamental role in the Kursk misadventure to bolster public support at home for continuing the proxy war and to persuade key allies to do more to help. In other words, to normalize open Western involvement and create the direct conflict that the Biden administration was so keen to avoid. So London was also at the forefront, we said, of pressuring NATO member states to permit Ukraine to use foreign supplied weaponry like, the depleted uranium and material inside Russia, which could likewise produce their long-sought hot war against Moscow.
Yep.
All right. Several Western countries, including the U.S., have offered such authorization. That alone is worthy of Russia attacking us if they wanted to. They are justified at that point. Yes, Russia has consistently... I certainly hope not, but it wouldn't shock me. All right. Russia, Russian scum. Where's that clown? I'm waiting for you to play that stupid soundbite. All right. Yet Russia has consistently responded to strikes deep inside its territory. Scum. Thank you. With heavy-duty counterattacks, which Kiev has been unable to repel because they don't know how to defeat hypersonic missiles. It's kind of a problem. Mm-hmm. We don't either, by the way.
But they stole that from us. They stole it from us, Indy. They took it up. They took ours. We totally have them.
They took our germs.
We use them all the time.
They took our germs. They took our missiles.
It's our idea. They took our idea.
Well, they do that all the time. They do that, and we take theirs, and that's how it works. All right.
What am I going to do?
Exactly. By the way, I found something with that in it the other day. I was like, oh my God, they're back.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
They're back. Right?
In November 2024. All right. Oh, what did I miss? Meanwhile, London's invitation to its allies to become more overtly involved in the proxy war was evidently rebuffed. They said, fuck that, especially Germany. I hear Pupper's barking, so he's got to go take care of that. He can still hear us. All right. But in November 2024, too, not November 2nd, but in the month of November as well, pro-government outlet Ukrainska Pravda published a startling investigation documenting in forensic detail how the October 23rd through June 2024 Krinky operation was a la Kursk, essentially British. No, come on, you don't say. Never spoken of by Ukrainian officials today, the 9-month effort saw wave after wave of British trained and equipped Marines attempt to secure a beachhead in a river-adjacent village in Russian-controlled Kherson. Poorly prepared, many died attempting to reach Krinky due to relentless artillery, drone, flamethrower, and mortar fire. Could you imagine being set up and sent on a beach being fucking fired on by flamethrowers and flame-throwing drones? Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Of those that survived the night...
do it, baby.
Wait. Of those that survived the nightmarish journey, most of them were then killed under a constant and ever-intensifying blitz in marsh conditions. Ooh. Russia's onslaught grew so inexorable, evacuating casualties or providing forces with even basic supplies became borderline impossible. All right. This is from History Legends, a pretty large channel about what happened there.
Krinky.
Survivors of the Krinky catastrophe, one of the absolute worst in military history, all right, who spoke to Ukrainska Pravda, revealed that it was hoped that the beachhead would be a game changer. Wait, you ready for this one? opening a second front in the conflict, allowing Kiev's invading Marines to march upon Crimea, an all-out victory in the proxy war. All right, I love this line. They hope to recreate the June 1944 Normandy landings D-Day. Where they just sacrificed like 97% of the guys there to get 17 guys through.
Yep.
It's all too easy to envisage British intelligence filling the heads of their Ukrainian trainees with such fantasies. Instead, they all got mowed down because it isn't 1944.
Also, it's just a highly misunderstanding of the D-Day landing.
We're going to take that beachhead.
The smallest, the beachhead that's the least defended. That we completely tricked them to thinking we were going to go to the most defended area. No, now it's just into the most defended area and see if they can make it. What?
All right. So, right. Fast forward to today, and Britain and France are openly discussing sending peacekeepers to Ukraine to help underpin whatever the post-war settlement emerges between Kiev and Moscow. This is after last February, about a year ago, French president at the time, Emmanuel Macron, suggested formally deploying his country's forces to Ukraine to halt Moscow's advance. That was rebuffed quickly. The proposal was summarily dropped and forgotten when, Russian officials made it abundantly clear that each and every French soldier dispatched to the front line would be killed without hesitation, and Paris could become a formal belligerent in the war. Yeah, Macron, he's a banker and a neolib. He does not take kindly to being threatened by KGB ex-spies like Putin, who've been president of his country for 30 years now, almost. All right. It appears that the peacekeeping plan, quote, in quotes, is likely to suffer the same fate. On January 20th, coincidentally or not, the day of Donald Trump's inauguration, CIA created Radio Free Europe published an explainer guide on why sending European troops to Ukraine is a non-starter. Among other things, as the Russians are unambiguously winning, they are unlikely to offer many concessions, particularly allowing foreign soldiers to occupy Kiev's territory. Furthermore, as a permanent member of the UN Security Council, Moscow can block any peacekeeping mission. So forget UN peacekeepers right there. All right. You think that Putin's going to allow UN peacekeepers into Kiev when all the rest of them are from NATO? I don't think so. As if the message to London and Paris wasn't emphatic enough, 2 weeks earlier at a press conference at Mar-a-Lago, Trump made numerous comments reiterating his commitment to ending the proxy war. Now, we've seen that may not be completely true, but so far it seems so. We're going to have to settle up with Russia. All right. Notably, I know you think we got to ask the Russians.
Let me call the Russians to help.
There you go. Notably, the president sympathized with Moscow's written in stone determination that Kiev not be enrolled in NATO, and warned that the situation could escalate to be much worse, and stated his hope that the conflict could be wrapped up within 6 months. That'd be nice. I mean, I think that he's much more worried about BRICS, and they're trying to dominate this hemisphere and the sphere of influence here much more than they can in the Middle East and East. Yep. That's my own opinion here, and it's not just mine. I've heard that from others as well. Markedly, Zelensky was not present at Trump's inauguration. In a J6 interview with Newsweek, it's weird. Why would you interview a Ukrainian president on January 6th? I guess that just happened to be the day. All right. The Ukrainian president, well, actually, he's now a dictator because he was elected, but he's well past his term and is continuing to be the president without allowing the country to hold elections. So that's not really a president, technically, kid. All right. Typically never one to shy away from international jollies, said he would like to attend, of course, but he received no invitation. In a rambling response, he said he was not sure it's proper to come, given that particularly during the war, sources close to Trump have claimed that, on the contrary, Zelensky repeatedly asked to attend but was rebuffed. Of course he wanted. Yeah, dude, you're out. That's the other reason why they think they're going to wrap this thing up. Because they're talking to Putin and they're not talking to Koki Smurf. All right? For Berlin, Kiev, London, Paris, and NATO more widely, the writing couldn't be more on the wall any more plainly. Whatever reveries they may have of maintaining the proxy war any longer, Britain recently signed a 100-year-long partnership with Ukraine, under which London will explore building military bases on Kiev soil. That's again openly escalating to outwar between Britain and Russia. They all ultimately remain imperial vassals, wholly dependent on U.S. financial and military support to exist. Save for a major false flag incident, Trump's message can only be received
at any time.
Yes, but Trump's message could only be received among the military alliance. Okay. Again, Kit Klarenberg, Global Delinquents. Go ahead.
Yep. No, you're going to say that Kit Klarenberg has things people should subscribe to and possibly even support monetarily.
Yes, for sure.
Good for him.
He's got Global Delinquents. He's got Active Measures. He certainly does. And he's got the Gray Zone UK.
His own Substack.
That's Global Delinquents.
He writes for many a publication. You can check him out in Mint Press. You could check him out in Consortium. You could check him out at SheerPost even, I think.
Well, that's when they pick up the stuff from Mint Press usually. But also he's written for Al Mayadeen and a couple of others as well. And let's see what our friend Fiorella has to say here. Breaking news, breaking. Ukrainian media outlets have recently highlighted a proposed Trump plan for resolving the ongoing conflict soon. However, the plan is similar to what Trump's reportedly suggested and comes as Lukashenko has said there would be an end to the Russia-Ukraine war this year. However, this plan, referred to as Trump's 100-day plan, has not been officially verified, but aligns with previous statements made by Trump and his advisor, Michael Kellogg. First, the Ukrainian armed forces would withdraw from
Kellogg.
Maybe. You know what? He's put so many wealthy people there, it wouldn't surprise me, but
it wouldn't surprise me. I know.
Ukrainian armed forces would withdraw from the Kursk region by Easter, and a peace agreement would be achieved by May 9th. February and March, President Zelensky would rescind his decree barring negotiations with Russia, paving the way for a trilateral summit involving Putin, Trump, and Zelensky, or alternatively, 2 separate bilateral meetings to establish a framework for a peace plan, meaning Trump would meet with each individually, Zelensky and Putin. Okay. During this period, the U.S. would continue providing military support to Ukraine. So you could see that there's really going to be an honest broker at the table.
Yep.
By April 20th, what a great day.
To me.
What a great day.
Sounds like a ceasefire.
A ceasefire would be declared along the front lines in time for Easter, accompanied by a full withdrawal of Ukrainian troops from the Kursk region. And by the end of April, an international peace conference would begin involving the U.S., China, various European countries, and nations from the global south. I would hope that Lula would be there, as well as who else has been very outspoken? I guess Maduro. I don't know if they're going to let Maduro there because they got a $25 million bounty on Maduro's head right now. I don't think they're going to let Maduro there.
Yeah.
But Petro, they don't even like Petro. He just put a 50% tariff on him. But no, there's who am I thinking of? Maybe it was Maduro. There was another big staunch advocate for Palestinians in South America. In addition, was it Arce from Bolivia? Maybe
maybe.
Okay. By the end of April, an international police.
Also, Easter's a big deal in that region.
Yes.
Which is why they're doing it for Easter.
Yes.
All those orthodoxies.
All right. We're going to get the end of the war formally. Martial law and mobilization in Ukraine would be lifted. And then between August through October, Ukraine would have to hold elections. So Koki Smurf will be gone because there's no way he's going to win after all this. The peace agreement would require them to remain.
His place, though.
It would require them to remain neutral and not join NATO, but would work toward EU membership by 2030, with the EU committing to cover the costs of reconstruction. Why? They destroyed the freaking Nord Stream that cut off all the gas into Europe, that raised the price of LNG for everybody else there.
Yeah, but they're saying the EU, I mean, since they're partially responsible for this.
Well, and public-private partnership, BlackRock's getting in on that reconstruction effort.
Right. You betcha.
All right. Ukraine would have to relinquish any claims to territories currently held by Russian forces, and some sanctions on Russia would be lifted immediately, with others following within 3 years if the agreement is adhered to. What? 3 years? Why? Additionally, why?
Why?
Additionally, the plan includes provisions allowing...
Why?
Yeah, why? Right? Provisions allowing pro-Russian parties to participate in Ukrainian elections, as well as an end to the persecution of the Ukrainian Orthodox Church. So they're not going to ban Russian language anymore? Huh.
Yeah.
The contentious issue of a European peacekeeping contingent would be addressed separately. The last point could make or break this. So here's Fee's analysis. This is like ceasefire on Gaza, brokered by Hamas, Qatar, and the U.S. and Israel. A disaster and darkness to come for Russia in the long run. Anyone who thinks Trump came up with this now doesn't get what's happening. No, he didn't. Of course not. This plan has been in place since before Syria fell. Yep.
As Klarenberg just told us.
Right. Trump's the guy to lead it now, but there's confirmation about deals made during Doha. If true, which I believe the version of this is, the State Department and intel apparatus has brokered a deal long before the change of face, and it's likely Russia will accept it if it guarantees security. We heard about this in April, May of last year. Yeah. There's a reason that Lukashenko is so confident about Trump ending the war this year, why the U.S. dropped their preview of Belarus's elections, but Europe kept them, all right, and why Belarus's foreign minister met with Jabroni, and why all of this is happening now. Don't forget about Syria, which is a linchpin to all of this.
Yeah,
she says, I sincerely hope I'm wrong, and Russia won't fall for the mistaken idea that things will be different under this phase of the empire, because of it, we will see this war end now, only to be brought back later. They've done it too many times before. The U.S. has no intention of a free Russia unless it's under its control. They still want regime change. That will not change until the entire government as we know it changes and the empire falls, much like Israel. Interesting. In the short run, this predictably will be viewed as a victory for Trump, and everyone will hail this as a peace negotiation. Belief in him and the establishment will be reinforced. Of course it benefits those of us in Russia. I'm not against peace, but this isn't genuine. It's once again just kicking the can down the road. I don't cheer for manipulations knowing that they're ticking time bombs. Okay, she'll write more on this, but if it happens to breathe and keep it, but if it happens, breathe and keep alert. Things are just starting a new chapter, but the story isn't over, not by a long shot. Ultimately, this signals that the NATO empire is capturing and dividing the non-aligned axis one by one, each works for themselves and not together. Watch them go after Iran, Venezuela, like I said about Maduro as well, right? Cuba also falls in there, and they're going to start going after all of the BRICS nations, by the way, as well. They're going to isolate each one of them. Be like, do you really want to fucking join them and be against us? Is that really what you want to do? Because you want to be our enemy? We can do that. You see what the fuck just happened to you? What happened to our friend? You see what's happening to Yemen right now? You want to be our enemy? See what's happening to Lebanon right now? You may not want to do that. You're not going to be very popular in your country, Mr. President. And that's what happens. We're basically fucking mafia thugs. Thanks, Fee. Again, where are you getting that on-the-spot breakdown analysis other than on
the other thing
Truthwire?
I wanted to add to that was that like they probably will start conflict again there and keep it quieter than they did this time. You know?
Yeah,
that
well, they
seems
have
to happen. It's kind of like at Gaza where they just head over to the West Bank and just don't talk about it.
Well, and Israel,
you know?
The Israel plan is murder all the journalists again, right? So
yes,
they may end up taking the same approach here. I certainly hope to everything that not, but jeez, how are they going to do that? Jeez. But yes, we are heavily censored. We are heavily suppressed. That is why I love the 27 of you here on YouTube and the 5 that are watching right now over on in the INN channel. All right, and the 71 watching over on who's over there? Oh yeah, over on Elon's magical machine. But yeah, all these amazing people have already supported our network, tipping us, hooking us up with PayPal, Ko-fi, Cash App, a Substack membership, something to help us keep the lights on, keep the restream going, keep the Canva going so that we can make all these graphics and thumbnails and video shorts and clips. We have a new outro tonight that I'm going to debut. Really excited about that. That'd be nice. So Cash App, $, Indie News Network, INDIE. You see it down there at the ticker. You can get to Ko-fi, ko-fi.com/Indie News Network. That shows up in the chat. Or you can !donate. Typing that in the chat will bring up the link to do that as well.
Can keep giving us nothing and think we're bluffing about coming for your heads. Why play civil if you won't listen to 50,000 dead? And now we know our mission, we form a militia, make Congress a prison. No, why play civil when all these dead won't make you listen? What's more American than slaying your oppressors? What's more American than liberty or death first? God, I thought we were founded on abolishing the tyranny of those who would starve a village all to live empirically. And I regret that I have only one life to give for my cause now that I can see the cause so clearly. See, I want our leaders, regardless of party, to fear me.